What's up, my friend?
You're just so close to the camera.
Take it easy,
You
take
went
it
like this,
easy.
and then you went.
One of my cameras went offline or something. What's going on? Okay, I am told we are live.
All right.
Great, thank you. For those of you joining us live, thank you so much. I appreciate you tuning in to our stream here as part of the Ahmed Ismail channel. Today, wow, I have an amazing guest, a super lovable person, a highly intelligent guy, emotionally, with experience. So much good stuff could be said. I'm thrilled for all of these reasons. I can't believe it's happening. I'm here with one of my longtime friends, one of my all time best friends, amazing character, all around beautiful human being. Um, One of my first friends in America, we're going to get to talk to. I'm kind of nervous about that due to that.
Don't be too nervous. Don't be too nervous.
Beautiful. Thank you, bro. Uh, but yeah, you're an amazing guest. Pressure's on me to host a good conversation. So thank you so much for being here.
I
Michael
appreciate it.
Trady, how are you, bro?
I am doing great. The pressure's on me after you just introduced me like that. I got red cheeks, the whole nine. Oh my gosh.
Dude, beautiful. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Um, so, we, my name's Ahmed or Ahmed. You knew me at the time where I was just beginning to identify as Ahmed. I had, I with my parents and family and myself had just recently immigrated to Southern California, and that's where we met. Uh, a little bit. That's a little bit about me. Could you share with us, for those who are tuning in, a little bit about yourself? Nothing too personal. Just set the context leading up to middle school.
Yeah. Well, um, I was a pretty bubbly guy always when I was a kid. Definitely very sensitive, I would say. Uh, but I don't know. Like I just wanted friends and I wanted to hang out with people. And at the time, Ahmed was sat next to me in class. And how could you not talk to the person next to you? Obviously. But ever since then, really, we just hit it off. And I'm really blessed to have you in my life. Absolutely. You are constantly working so hard, and it keeps me on my toes to want to work even harder. I'm really competitive, obviously.
We're gonna get to that, bro. We're gonna get to that. I appreciate you. You are super competitive. I'm actually thankful to that you brought that up. We're gonna talk about
Mhm,
it. You also inspire me to keep working hard. We had a beautiful conversation recently,
mhm.
earlier this week, and you were telling me a little about how you're always pushing forward, and you're always moving because otherwise you don't want to slow down, because otherwise you may stop.
Yeah, I'm actually glad you brought that up. I was thinking about that today. Um, really, what I realized, and I realized this, I guess, like as I was leaving high school, kind of entering into college. Um, I'm naturally very lazy, like extremely lazy. If I don't want to do something, and if I allow myself not to do it, I'm really not going to do it, and I never will do it either. And that's kind of where I made that kind of, I would call it a saying more than anything to myself, which is that if I slow down, like I am gonna just stop because I realized so early on that I was a lazy person. Um, but with that, as you had said, I'm also very competitive. Um, and I am competitive in the kind of way that I just know that I'm going to win because I know that no one else is going to work as hard as I am because I want to win. And that can be a bad trait, but also a very good trait depending on how you use it. And I know for myself, when it comes to, I don't know, like really, like right? So you ever kind of sat down and really thought about why you do something? Like
Mm.
really to understand what it is in you that you don't like, why you do it, and then to make an active change about it. Right? Have you ever done something like that?
So you're talking about sort of, I've been doing this a lot. What I
Hmm.
if I understand you correctly, I've been doing this a lot, asking myself why I do something.
Hmm.
Yeah, bro. I'll share something with you. I thank you for opening the conversation. This actually this is beautiful. I asked myself. We were talking about this, but it made it clearer, more clear to me that our 20s are about doing what we wanted to do as teenagers, but without all the shame we felt at that time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so when we had that conversation, it kind of two things clicked to me that at the time when we were teenagers or when I was younger, I was really heavily focused on academics and I was, foreign to this country. I was an immigrant living across on the other side of the globe and all these things that were changes that happened to my life that I was dealing with at those times. So I chose to only focus on kind of like just assimilating into the new culture and focusing on my classroom success, in classroom success. But I kind of ignored or stopped using and started losing my creative side, I think.
Hmm.
So with me now, years later, like a decade after that time, 12 years into immigrate after immigrating and all that great stuff, I've grown within myself personally, interpersonally. So now I'm exploring creative aspects and I asked myself, why do I want to do this? Why do I want to pursue creative pursuits and such? And I was like, I just want to build a community where we share, we me being my guests and we being my guests and I, where I have these beautiful people such as yourself that I've met along the way that have all these amazing things to offer. And I'm like, man, we've had these pains and struggles and we've made adjustments and gone through growth. And it's like,
Hmm.
oh, hey, I would like to create a space to offer advice respectfully, just share experiences, share our differences, share our backgrounds, just as you and I came to know each other despite our differences. And one of the most beautiful friendships, one of the most beautiful friend groups that we have that I'm super thankful for. And it's like, yeah, why not share what I've taken away from this? Take
Hmm.
this and take our friendships and what I've learned from into a digital community.
You see, that's beautiful. And I mean, if you really like take just what you're doing, right, as like a whole, that's a beautiful thing to be able to take a second, look back at something that when you were at that age, probably never thought to think about, right?
Mm.
But now you can almost like actively change from an experience that you had at that time. And then through that change, you develop like wisdom and experience and you develop those adjustments that you were talking about as well. Um, and absolutely like being able to share that with like a group of people, or even to share it with like a community, which is what you're trying to build, or people to kind of just, I guess I would say it's like one of those things where you can feel so lost sometimes, right? And
Mm.
not know where to start. And sometimes it's a simple conversation like this that really gives someone the idea of where to start. And if we get to provide conversations like this to people, right, then hopefully they'd be able to make some type of, I don't know, um, what's a
Some
word I'm looking for? You know what I'm looking for.
I think what I got from it, what I was following is they take away some positive out of it, some
Yes,
positive takeaway.
that's it. Absolutely. And that's really cool. And like today we're going to talk about adjustments, right? And we could talk about the adjustments that we made in our lives. Like I know for myself, I tend to have a lot of the traits that my parents have,
Mm.
which is not a bad thing because my parents are very beautiful people and very loving,
God
very
bless,
kind.
indeed.
However, they are people. And because they're people, they have qualities and characteristics about themselves that, isn't very flattering. And that's in everybody, right? Like, that's not bagging on any specific person. That's just everyone has something that maybe either they don't realize they don't like, or something that other people don't like in them.
Mm.
I'm sure I have it. I know for a fact my competitiveness, like my ultimate competitiveness, is so meticulous in the way that I compete. I focus on everything and I make adjustments and changes throughout because I know that if I mess something up, I want to be able to identify what it is and make the change immediately. Because I do that, I know I'm going to win. So I tell people that I'm going to win. Like, and that's like ultimate competitiveness, right? And it's not necessarily confidence, I wouldn't call it, because I'm
Hmm.
basing it around my work ethic, I
Mm.
guess. And if it works out or if it doesn't, like, is what it is. But to me, I just know that I am. And that
Yeah,
quality about myself, my girlfriend hates, because it's not fun when we like compete for fun. You know what I mean?
mm.
And like
She
that's a
could.
perfect. Go ahead. No,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. No, I mean, when you're talking about this, I totally agree with what you're saying. I do think you're a competitive person, but at the same time, you do
Mhm.
clearly communicate where you're coming from. And for me, I think that's important where we're coming from. You know, you and I come from similar backgrounds, especially middle school and up. And, you know, going into high school, I think one of the biggest characteristics personally that I identified with or that I have looked back on in reflection is, you know, with high school football, with particularly our program and who we dealt with in terms of other players within our team, within outside of our team, and especially our coaches. And I think, I don't know if you agree, bro. We came from a really competitive program.
Really, really competitive. Yeah.
Right, right. Which I think is beautiful. I honestly,
Yeah.
it could, like you said earlier, it could be
Hmm.
taken to a bad sense, it could be taken to a good sense. But personally,
Oh yeah.
yeah, personally, I'd like to talk about the positives.
Hmm.
So I'd like to share a little bit of, you know, positivity. I'm a shamelessly plug one of my first mentors outside of my family, Coach Cameron Carmona, CRS speed. I think, you know, it used to be Cam's real speed, then it was like
Yeah.
California real speed. Now it's like global. I don't know. God bless the man. He taught me a whole
Absolutely.
lot. And one of the major things that I took away from, besides taking care of my body, was ice baths and Pedialyte. Is you know how that went, bro. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
every Wednesday and Thursday night practices, Coach Cav's talking about you gotta take care of your body so when come game time you're refreshed.
Absolutely.
And I actually, I do wanna, as it was a joke, he was the ice baths guru, but it, all love and
Hmm.
respect. But I do want to talk about that. Like for us, for me personally, I love taking care of my body, and I'm thankful to know a few different ways how to do that
Hmm.
because we picked that up, early on in life. How many people? I know people, now we're both graduated college. Now I'm graduated college. I talk with some people, and some people in similar places in life, they don't know how to take care of themselves because they never had like a good source of that kind of information.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. So could you please? Wow,
Mhm.
that was a lot off my chest.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that's what this is for.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Could you please share with us like one positive memory or one positive lesson, whichever comes to mind,
Yeah.
about high school football or high school?
Yeah. So high school football, man. I remember up until probably the end of our junior year and nothing else. We had talked about this a little bit before, and I had said that I'm not afraid to talk about it at all. But when I had played college football, I got that concussion, and it developed an arachnoid cyst on my brain.
Mm.
Unfortunately, because of that, I lost a lot of my memory from high school. I have a pretty strict cutoff. Like the start of July, around like June 27th is like the last day I remember after junior year. And then up until my first day at college, um, I missed all of that. And then from college, the beginning up until my junior year of college, it was real hazy. Like the memories are real hazy, which is probably the case for a lot of people if they partied a lot.
But that's not what we're talking about here.
That's not what we're talking about. No.
That's that's not what you're
Um,
saying. Yeah.
so, I, I'm sure I had a lot of good memories in my senior year. I do remember my knee surgery. I remember uh, the day I signed to go to college,
Yeah.
which I remember just signing in the courtyard. I remember that for sure. Um, and then I think that's it. I It was like first day of college. Yeah, dude, Berkeley Bears right there. Dude,
Roll on, you
golden bear.
Bears, or
Absolutely.
something like that. I don't know. Yeah.
But one of my, I guess I'd probably say one of my favorite memories about taking care of my body. Um, I remember I had to lose weight because I had torn my meniscus for the second time, and I had didn't get surgery the first time I did. Um, during that time though, I had surgery. I was 300 pounds. I needed to get to 260, what the doctor said, in order to like be able to practice in the few months I had before I had to go to college. Um, that's as much detail as I can give you. But
I
yeah, and
appreciate
so
you sharing. I appreciate you sharing.
yeah, and I remember I trained a lot. Uh, I trained multiple times a day in the morning. I made sure I trained, at practice and during our lift time. And then I also did extra training afterwards. I went and I did training. I can't remember where that was either, but I did it for a few hours. And then I'd come home, I'd do homework. And then in between practice and going to that other training, I would like tutor kids and stuff if they needed it.
Yeah, I
But the
remember.
main,
Dude,
yeah, do you remember?
I remember together when we
Hmm.
used to, you and I, we ran this like 6 period program, this tutoring program. It was after school, but before practice, when
Yeah.
some of us would go to meetings, but some guys on the team weren't able to attend meetings.
Hmm.
or whatever happened, team obligations due
Yeah.
to poor grades or improvable grades. I don't want to use that language, but
Improvable grades. That is a
im-
great way to put it.
thank you. Improvable
Absolutely.
grades, and you and I think it was, I honestly can't remember whose initiative it was. But I want to give you credit, bro. You probably played a huge part in getting that started. And we used to go to the bungalows, if you
Yeah.
if you remember those places.
Yeah. Yeah.
And man, there was like 3 classrooms filled
Hmm.
of just student athletes getting after it, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
remember junior year, Coach Machete came up to me and said, "Hey, we need to get grades up." And I was like, "Oh, are my grades bad?" Like immediately panicked. I was like thinking I had A's. I'm in
yeah,
all honors classes. Like I know for a
yeah, because
fact
you
I'm on
had the
top of my stuff.
initiative, right?
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. And then we had talked about it, and he said, "Yeah, like we want to do a study hall." And I said, "Yeah, absolutely. I'd be totally willing to do it." And I think there's probably a few other on the team that would be willing to help as well, who would
Mm,
improve the success. And then we did it almost, it was like every year. It was ever since then. We just
yeah,
kept doing it.
yeah, yeah,
Which
yeah.
sucks because that means there's still a problem, but glad that we got to help everybody, right? Like that's a huge thing. We got the team all passing and maybe a few outliers, but like that's something completely different, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we can't. I think we controlled what we were able to control,
Yeah,
and
we just did the best we could
yeah,
with what
that
we
was our input. Yeah, like we had the organization, different people that required different subjects, and
had. Hmm.
students would go in those bungalows, expecting this kind of effort. And like those 3 bungalows, there was, as far as I remember, there was 2 of us,
Hmm.
and whoever was helping peer to peer. But in terms of like tutors or whoever like
We were
ran.
just teaching wood.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was
I
it.
forgot. I
I
forgot
was
what. There was a term they used. It wasn't like golden matador. It was one of those leadership, whatever it was. It's just 2 of us. I was like, man. I look back on it, and I think that's where, bro, you brought out one of my proudest characteristics is giving back educationally. And you know what?
Mhm.
Maybe I attribute this podcast, this space to share peace, positivity, and knowledge to the tutoring program that you started, the
Yeah,
study
right.
hall.
The high school tutoring program.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but no, like high school is a great time for us to learn and grow as people, right? And you were talking about, your health and what you learned from Coach Cam. And what I had learned was more I needed to lose weight, but I was working out a lot and I couldn't be tired, right? I needed to lose weight fast. So I knew, first of all, I had to speed up my metabolism, right? I learned, how do you do that? You just speed up the amount of times you eat in a day and make sure that there's small quantities, enough for you to digest within the time that you have in between your meals. That's it. You do that for a while, your body is like, hey, we trust that we're getting this base amount of nutrients, this amount of time. Like, hey, we get something in, cool. Pull what you need, get it out. Pull what you need, get it out. Like, that's it. And so from there, like I sped that up. I needed more calories though, because I was just not getting enough nutrition. And I learned, how to calculate what the amount of grams of protein, healthy fats, carbohydrates, sugars, salts that a person needs in order to get to a certain place that they want to get. So I did that, right? I needed more protein through the roof and high vegetables so that I could digest that protein, and tons of fiber so that I could process it all out. Tons of water as well so I could lubricate everything on the inside. And it gave me that, like, because almost I had to go through this really tough time. I was having knee surgery at 17, 16 years old, but because I went through that, like, it gave me the opportunity to really learn something from it, which is kind of what you'll find tonight is the basis of my life. I gotta go through something really hard, and I learn a lot of lessons from it.
Beautiful, bro. Thank you so much for sharing. Ton of advice, ton of great insight, I think, and going through
Mhm.
difficulties to and learning from it and to grow from it. I think that's amazing. And wow, yeah, bro. Thank you so much. I could we could talk about that. We could go down that conversation pathway and talk about it for days. You know,
Yeah, we can. We can.
but you opened up a beautiful conversation doorway, and that's talking about a little about self caring through nutrition.
Mhm.
And I think you personally, I mean, man, I can't say enough good things about your commitment to your personal health, bro, about your dedication to stay true to whatever decision you made. We were talking about conversation about a decision you made about 3 years ago, bro, that you're still on, which is you have a. I'm not gonna say it for you. I'd like to hear it from you. But it's a
Yeah.
physical health outcome, a goal that
Mhm.
you have dedicated, that you have been dedicated to. So if you could please tell us a little bit what this goal is,
Yeah.
and I don't want to ask too many questions ahead of time, but
No, you're
tell us
good.
what it
And
is and
yeah.
um, what how did you why you talked earlier,
Mhm.
why did you make that decision?
Absolutely. So I played college football for
Mm-hmm.
those of you who do not know.
Mm-hmm.
And I was an offensive lineman. In high school, I played tackle and I was a long snapper. And then in college, I played guard and center. Um, and I was not a long snapper anymore. um, Basically, I came into college after I had just told you I had lost that weight that I had to because I knew I was gonna. I went from 300 to 260 and I went into college. Um, College brought me up to 325 pounds as an offensive lineman. And during that time, I had back surgery and I had two herniated discs, my L405, and it was killing the nerves in my right leg and starting to kill the nerves in my left leg.
Mm.
And in order to
Wow.
not have permanent nerve damage, I eventually had to have surgery, which prevented me from being able to play football for my last few years. Um, because of that, right, I'm in a lot of pain every day, and it's 24/7 and nonstop every single day. I feel it now. I'll feel it later. I'll feel it tomorrow. Um, but I've lived with it for a long time, and when I was in college, I was poor, and so I worked and I tried to recover, and I went to school, and I did what I could do to get by, and my parents helped me out as much as they could, which I'm very grateful for because they definitely helped a lot. Um,
Amazing.
but I was 325 still, and miserable, and depressed, and sad, and you know, on that end, right in
Mm-hmm.
college, I eventually had made a choice. Like I can either like be stuck in this
Mm-hmm.
and be miserable forever, or I can start making choices every day, little
Mm.
conscious choices that matter,
Intentional,
that
conscious
that
choices.
change my life and what I want to be habits, basically.
Mm.
Um, and
Beautiful.
that's what it is you're building good habits, and I realize that now. But then I was striving to be happy. I just wanted to feel joy and comfort again. And I haven't gotten the comfort part, but I have the joy, like that's truly what matters for me. And so when I
If I
left
may, bro,
college,
and you
yeah.
do a beautiful job of it. It's as your friend, as someone who has the privilege of knowing you and has had, it's been an honor to go through this a personal journey of life with you and alongside you. Man, you have such great attitude, bro. I mean, you're just talking about it now, and they're serious things. But you have such good humor about it, and I aspire to be more like you in that sense, bro. So,
I appreciate that. And honestly, that I was always when I was a kid, my brother got in trouble a lot. And I started realizing, like, hey, if I don't want to get in trouble, like, why don't I just learn not to do from what that person just did who just got in trouble? And eventually, like, my mom had put it into words for me, right?
yeah.
We were driving home from somewhere and she said, Michael, I'm real proud of you. She goes, you're a really wise kid. And I said, Mom, what does that mean? And she goes, well, you seem like the kind of person who learns from others' mistakes. And there's this saying that is, a wise man learns from others, or a wise person. Let's change the narrative. A wise, so a wise person.
Hey, you're beautiful. You're
A,
being gender equitable. Man, woman, the person.
no, so a
Yeah.
wise person learns from others' mistakes. A smart person learns from their own, and a fool never learns.
Mm,
And I didn't want to be a fool. And yeah,
mm,
I knew I was smart, but wise just seemed like so much easier, right?
mm.
And so, you know, I learned from my grandfather who died very young, unfortunately.
God bless
But
his soul.
during the end of his life, he started having problems going on with remembering how to do stuff. And I remember my grandma, when I got a little bit older, my grandmother was telling me a little story about him, and she said that the way he reacted to things was beautiful
Mm.
because one day he tried to leave the house and he couldn't figure out how to open the door. And he's jiggling it and like pushing on it and pulling on it. And all of a sudden, my grandma comes around the corner into the kitchen to see what he's doing. And
Mm.
he turns around and looks with this huge smile on his face. And he said, hey, you never got to worry about locking me in the house. I can't even figure out how to open the damn door. Like,
That's beautiful.
how insanely beautiful of a reaction is that?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that is it's
yeah.
insane. And I realized that if I could just do that, if I could take that and implement it in my life
Mm,
and really implement it, not just say I'm
mm,
gonna do it, but like really do it,
mm.
I might find the joy again, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Like it was miserable. How people can live so unhappy, I don't know.
Mm,
Because I could not do it. And I couldn't do it so much that I scratched and pulled to find a way to bring that joy back in my life.
mm. Yeah.
And I did it. Like I
You
found it.
did. You
It's
did.
possible,
And you
like
are doing it.
I am.
It's a
You
habit.
have to just you have to make the choice.
Yeah.
Like it's too easy to, sorry, my dog is just wants attention constantly. He has been hitting my arm nonstop this
Man, because
whole
you
time.
radiate such beautiful energy. And,
I know he gets so excited,
bro,
but
bro, talk about beautiful energy, man, or beautiful, whatever, just good things. You have so many people, hella people in the comments just telling me how beautiful and handsome you are. Like, sheesh. I know
that's very sweet.
everyone tuned in right now, and they're not here for me. I know they're here for you, bro.
No
And
way. They're here. They had subscribed. Hit that subscribe button. Smash like, because you can never press it. You gotta smash it.
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I appreciate it. No, that was a. I mean, what a beautiful message. Take the take the difficulties in life, take the frustrations with a little bit of sense of humor, and
Absolutely.
yeah, that's
Mhm.
that's helped me. Laughing at myself, laughing with
Yeah.
myself. you know,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, laughing with other people about my own, mistakes or my own
Mhm.
shortcomings, because man, I don't even want to ask the chat. I don't even want to ask you. I don't even want to ask anyone
Yeah,
about my
no,
shortcomings, because I
I
know I
get
have
it.
so many. But one thing that you said, and I'd like to reiterate for whoever's listening, shout out, shout out this great man Dominic Benish. I appreciate y'all. Joey, thank you so much. Jesse Ruiz, thank you so much. One love. Yeah, it's speaking about. I mean, let's be honest. I'm not for whoever's tuning in that is unaware with those names I just said. These are the group of friends that these are the people that I associate with within this friend group, and it's one of the we talked about it earlier. I'm super
There are
thankful.
boys.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I
And
want to comment on that actually. It is a
please,
beautiful thing, the relationship we all have, and it's a constant support group, right? Like no matter what happens to any of our circumstances, like we know that the support we get from our boys is always going to be there in the same way that it always will be. And it's with the fullest excitement and love the entire time. Like how many people have friends like that, you know? Like it's a blessing. It's like it's you can't how can you not be grateful for a group of people like that who just so love and adore and care and just want to be a part of your life. You know what I mean? Like
amen.
that's incredible. It's incredible.
Amen to everything you said. Shout out to the boys. Dr. Jack D. Jenkins, thank you so much. Great chat. I agree. I agree. It is a great chat. So, someone else is, that's what I was trying to say. We have someone who is a stranger, but like you said, it's such a beautiful friend group, so supportive. Everyone wants to be involved in your life
Mhm.
positively, for the good and the bad, to positively uplift you out of it. And you said something earlier about you're not sure how someone could be miserable with the great attitude that you have learned through your grandparents and the wisdom that you've gotten. Um, I mean, I've personally, I'm gonna get a little vulnerable or whatever you want to call it. I personally
Bring it
have
in.
been miserable for different parts of my life, and
Hmm.
I really attribute coming out of it to the support of my family and the support of my extended family, my friends. So that's what we're here for. I appreciate it. Back to our conversation, you were saying something. We were talking about college. You were talking about college athletics.
Hmm.
I'm not a college athlete, even though
Yeah,
I've got
so
these on me. No, I'm
you
just
do
kidding.
got them guns, baby.
I'm
Dang.
just kidding. But what you have plenty of experience. What one advice would you give to young student athletes? Everyone wants to go to NFL. Every boy wants to go to NFL. I don't know what young girls want to get into because I was never a young girl. uh, but what do you tell young kids who are trying to uh, aspire to be collegiate and professional athletes?
Um, well, I have a few points to definitely focus on. Number one is your academics matter, right? All the way through, like even in middle school and high school, college, like you have to have a good GPA, and it's better to take the initiative to get ahead than to fall behind. Um, the other thing I would say is care of your body. That's number one.
Thank
If you
you.
do
Thank
nothing
you.
else, do that because no one else knows your body. No one else feels the things you feel. No one else is going to know or understand what you're going through unless you explain it in the fullest extent. But if someone hears these things and, tells you to suck it up, which is sometimes you kind of gotta, but you know when too much is too much. You
Thank you.
know when too far is too far.
Thank you.
It's okay to push, but know your body, take care of your body. You only get one, and sometimes it will never heal. It just stays, or it gets worse, or it's lingering. But
Yeah.
take care. Those are
Take
two
care of your
things I would
body.
say for sure. Third one, give your all in all of it, not some of the things that you do, all of it.
Mm,
And the things you do, there's different tasks within those things. Give all of it to every single one.
mm.
No one's gonna like treat you any different if you decide not to do something, but if you decide to do something, give it your all. That's
Wonderful.
just like hard work. It builds success, but if anything, it teaches you a good lesson of like where your limits are and how hard and how far you're willing to go.
And
And you
it
should know
builds,
those things.
beautiful. And it builds your identity, your character through repeated doing, maybe.
Absolutely.
Um,
And habits. Sometimes it builds really good habits.
Dude, I love that. Thank you so much. So, three advice. I, one, get ahead, be proactive in the classroom. I personally, I'm gonna tell you, the value of classroom. But I also, as someone that, let me not deviate. But classroom, be proactive, take care of your body, and give it your all. Beautiful,
Absolutely.
beautiful advice, bro. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank
But if
you.
we want to talk about classrooms, oh, I got feelings about classrooms too. I
What?
got feelings too.
Give us a little bit of a sneak peek into your perspective on the classroom.
Yeah, absolutely. So at one point, the US was number one in everything. However, we are not by no means anymore. In fact, we've been defunding schools and education systems since the 70s,
Mm,
and it's continued. It hasn't stopped, it hasn't slowed down. If anything, it's increased greatly. And in my opinion, right, where school should be a place where you learn to discover and to learn and to bring value to your life moving forward, right? I would say that like the K through 12 system,
hmm.
although does teach you things, is more of like babysitting,
Fundamentals. Oh, okay. Okay. Like daycare.
daycare, better
Mm,
way to put it. It's more
okay.
like daycare. Like
Mm,
you make kids come to this place, right?
hmm.
And some don't want to go, which I think that kids should go to school. It's a great place to build habits and also learn social skills
Yeah.
with other people around you. Um,
Yes, yes. I personally learned my American social skills through, middle and high school because that's when I came in and I was still, I'm still learning today how to socialize but that's a whole different thing. But hey, what's so funny? I'm just
no,
kidding.
whoa,
I'm
whoa,
just kidding. I'm just kidding. Hey, what's going on here? Hey, man. Oh, we. The social part is key. Thank you, Don. Yes, sir.
absolutely.
And so one of the things I'd like to expand, man, you talked about the funding. When I came here in '08, there was like everyone was talking about pink slips, man. I didn't even know what they were, but I was like,
It still
you
happens.
gonna tell me I may not see Mr. Callias again if he gets one of the? You better
Mr.
not.
Mr. K. No, that
Yeah,
was my elementary school teacher. Not I
man.
had
I
an
was like,
elementary school teacher named Mr. Kallias.
ah, dude,
Yeah.
what a great guy.
I remember Mrs. Sharkey. I remember her. She was my science teacher. I
Okay,
remember I
okay.
went through puberty and I came into class like that next year after I'd gone through it. And I was like, "Hey, Miss Sharkey, how's it going?" And she goes, "Oh my gosh, Michael, did you go through puberty?" In front of everybody. And I
Yeah.
went, "Oh yeah, Miss Sharkey, I'm glad you noticed."
Aren't I thankful for your observation?
Yeah,
Yeah. So the funding, the lack of funding or the defunding, I think that's a huge one. I mean, I was introduced to like the U.S. system. I was introduced to life in the United States. And
Mhm.
someone someone's talking about, you may have copied them, if you remember from the days of elementary. This friend of ours, if you know, says
It's
he
definitely
said,
not Dom. He forgot all about me, so he wouldn't remember me cheating off him.
listen, we're gonna gloss over that. I'm not.
Okay, okay. But
Yeah,
anyways,
so
go ahead.
and you talked about, there was another thing you said that really resonated with me, but I'm a stick with the social aspect. Oh yeah, the daycare part. Let's not talk about all the good stuff, which I would like to get into, but let's pause
Mhm.
that for a second. And wow, really, as I was working through the pandemic remotely at the office, I was thankful to work with, wonderful people. But at the same time, they were unable to give their all, as you said, you emphasized, they weren't able to give their all one way or another. And I empathize with them because while they were sitting at home working through Zoom or, whatever, we worked with other software, but they were sitting right there, and like in the background you did have like one, two, three, multiple kids, and they have to go through their schooling, and it's like, wow,
Absolutely.
that came to highlight to me. I don't
Yeah.
have kids.
No, and it's super tough. It's been really tough for a lot of people, and I think it's important also to mention. I don't think either of us think that like school, the K through 12 system, is coherently bad or good. It's just a structure, right? It's the
Mm,
educational structure we have, and we're going to critique and criticize, yes, but there are very good things that spawn from it as well.
amen,
Now that we've gotten that off our chest,
amen, amen.
back to
I
what you were talking about.
Yeah,
Um,
please
you're
go ahead.
absolutely right. It has been very tough for a lot of people to give their all and stuff because of the circumstance they're in.
Hmm.
I always take circumstance with like the concept of perception, right? And
Okay,
I developed this, I don't
help
know
us
what you would call
understand.
it. Maybe I would call it an ideology, a theory, maybe.
Okay,
I
a
I think it
perspective.
your face looks so funny when it froze. Um, anyways, so the ideology or the
Give us one
perspective,
second. Give
right?
us 1 second. Give us 1 second.
Go for it.
I think I'm not sure if we're still live.
It says recording on my
Zoom.
screen. Yeah, Zoom is.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
We
YouTube
Gucci.
YouTube tells me we are live.
All right, sweet. So,
Thanks for working
what
with me,
a
bro. Thanks for
yeah,
working with me.
absolutely. So, as I was saying, I came up with this one day. I was thinking about it. I was laying in bed because I was really depressed, right? I was in a lot of pain. I was still very large, and I couldn't find comfort. And so I was laying in bed and I was thinking to myself, what is experience? Like, what dictates an experience as bad and what dictates an experience as good? Is it the experience itself, or is it the perception that someone has coming into the experience, almost being like
Mmm.
a coffee filter, right?
Okay.
So if you don't have the filter, right,
Keep
then
going,
you're
please.
just gonna
Yeah.
get coffee grounds and water together mixed in a pot, right? That's bad. No one wants that. But if you put this filter of positivity in, right, and you have that mindset of like, I don't even know if I should continue. Yeah. So you have that mindset
Filter
of
of
positivity.
positivity, you guys.
Yeah, mindset of
You
positivity.
have to put this. Hey man,
It's this.
it's
Uh-huh.
super beautiful you say that. I mean, personally, as I was growing up through, but I was a child, obviously. You know, wow. This one's gonna be a little tough. As I was a child, going through experiencing war right outside. Even though yeah, I was a child, but I was pretty aware of what was happening. But the filter of positivity, the mindset, man, that really changed everything, because all I knew was my family. What I'm trying to say is I had a loving family, thankfully, and this
Yes.
this loving family gave me a mindset that things are going to be okay, that we are here for each other, that difficult things are outside and they could come inside. Who knows? Danger
Yeah.
could have walked right in or blew right in at any moment. But thankfully, for a beautiful family, they instilled in me this positivity filter, looking at things with a
Hmm.
positive outlook or with a positive angle. And that really helped me get through the trauma at the time, but also living with the trauma removed
Hmm.
from the physical danger as my family and I immigrated. So I appreciate you bringing that up. Thank
Yeah,
you so much.
absolutely. And I'm so sorry that you had to go through that, right? But I'm so happy to know. I know your family, and I know they're very loving. But that's insane, right? You have this insanely loving family, and that creates that filter in your mind where you can take these experiences that are very, very traumatic for anyone to go through, right? And almost remember it as I remember having this beautiful, fun, loving time with these people that I care about greatly, right? Like that's the experience you focus on. You don't focus on like the other things going around in your immediate surroundings. You focus on the circumstance that you're in and which circumstance that you're in. So, like for myself, my body is thrashed, right? However, that's just my circumstance. That's all it is. The perception I put in my mind, for myself, it's a positive one. I don't love my body. It drives me nuts all the time. However, it's my body and I have this positivity running through me constantly. Um, and what I do is for me it's fun, right? Like I have to have the fun is the positivity. So I have to find and turn whatever's going on in my body as something that's fun and positive for myself. So like I talked to you about my memory. My fun positive spin is that I get to experience things for the first time a lot, all over again, constantly. And I do it
I
all the
love that.
time.
I love
And it's
that.
it's great. Like I get to really, really enjoy life, right? Like enjoy what life has to offer because I get to do it for the very first time so many times. Like that's a blessing. Even though it's a hassle with other things, like it doesn't matter because that benefit I get to me is what I focus on. Now, like with my physical body, I'm an old man, old, old, old man. However, I decided a long time ago that I was not going to be defined by what my body is. I'm going to be defined by what I'm able to do. And I go through life trying things out and experiencing, and I remember how it makes my body feel. If my body is terrible, terrible, it's not worth it. And that's okay. It's okay to like let it go, right?
Try
But
things, see how you feel.
absolutely. And as I've been losing weight, like I've been able to do a lot more and now the positivity in my mind has changed. It's no longer like, hey, I made this decision for myself. That's what the positivity is. So now I'm going to live that through all the way. Now the positivity in my head is, hey, I can probably feel semi-normal again. I'll take it. Semi-normal. Ugh, I got a skateboard. I bought Heelys. I have a pogo stick.
Yes, yes, yes.
Like, dude, these are things that are fun, exciting, that most people will never go out and spend their money on or like even think about because they either did it as a child or maybe they got their fill or maybe they just think it's child stuff. But for me, like it's excitement, it's cool, it's fun. Like if someone comes to a party, a family get together, call it
Yeah,
that. You
yeah.
bring a pogo stick. You're telling me people aren't going to try it? Like, come on. That's all they're going to be talking about for at least 30 minutes is the dang
Right,
pogo
right.
stick. That's so much fun. It brings positivity into it. And like, I take those little bits. those little tiny connectors, right? Like someone else's positivity has nothing to do with me.
Nice.
However,
Tying the
I
social aspect back into it.
absolutely, and that's like it works for me, right? Like that's the best way for me to find my joy and my happiness is I find ways that I can go experience things that I know not a lot of people are going to be able to, right? Or maybe they just won't think about it. Not that they won't be able to, but that mainly probably that they don't think about it. But because I go through the things that I go through, I have that special opportunity to think of these fun and exciting things that at one time I thought I would never be able to do again. Like I never thought I'd be able to be on a skateboard again.
Mm.
I thought riding a bike would probably be one of the most painful things I'd have to ever go through. You know, Heelys. Do you know how messed up my ankles are?
Mm.
Like, I would have
So
never,
so it's the
ever, ever.
relative perspective. Um,
Relative perspective, that's a great word for it. Absolutely.
and it's beautiful. I mean, you live it. You give every appreciation. We talked about this offline, and if I may, if I may bring up the reason why you talked about a little bit with the appreciation for the Heelys, and you just talked about it. Your body's hurt, but having that perspective and then having an improved state of being, you've worked tirelessly on your own body, on your physical health. You've
I'm down 90 pounds, baby.
Thank you for bringing that up.
I'm
I was
down
just gonna
90
ask.
pounds. It's been so I started losing weight. I graduated college
So let's go back. We
2018.
kind of did not. Beautiful, beautiful. I
Yeah,
hope you are going down where I think you are going.
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
wanted to ask
So,
about your physical goal for your health. Could you,
yep.
yeah,
Right where
walk
we
us
had
through
left
that?
off. I
Yeah.
was 325 out of college, back surgery under the belt. Never really got a good recovery out of it because my body was so big. I graduated December of 2018. I got home on the 20th. I spent some time with my family. I spent some time thinking of where I wanted my life to go and the direction I wanted to take. Um, and the one thing that I wanted to do, and I knew that I wanted to do it, was I wanted to get all of this weight off of my body. I was 325 pounds. You do not need to be that big. Like, especially for me, I was offensive lineman and I've been large for a very, very long time. And I spent a long time gaining weight. Now I had to do the opposite. And I didn't know how to do it, but I decided day after Christmas, I said, I am not waiting to January 1st. I'm just going to start the day after Christmas. Doesn't matter. I'm going to start changing the way that I live. I'm not going to be on a diet. I'm going to be on a lifestyle change because that's what I knew would stick. And I
I
knew
love it.
my surgeon told me at I was 20 years old. I had just gotten my back surgery. Um, he told me that unfortunately, I could not work out until I reached 220 pounds.
For
And
you, for the just so people who may not
mhm,
contextualize this, for
yeah,
your own health, due to
for
your
yeah,
back, due to
absolutely.
physical limitations.
My doctor told me that you will have chronic pain for the rest of your life. He said, as long as you have this weight on you, it's going to be the worst it'll ever be. He said, the longer you have this weight on you, too, you risk highly of re-injuring yourself just
Mm.
from day-to-day activities, which I ended up doing. Um,
So it's kind of like
unfortunately, I was losing weight at the time, so I was like working on it, but just not there yet.
work in progress. And I mean, like I've talked all stream about, all podcast episode about your dedication. I mean, over time, through obstacles, and
Mhm.
you continue. I mean, it's beautiful, bro.
Yeah,
You have ups and downs, but you take them like, I mean, it's life, bro. Like what? Like a champ.
absolutely. I gotta take that thing on the chin, baby.
Yeah, shout out. I mean, Coach
But let
Machete.
me walk you
Yeah,
through this journey. Why
please,
not?
bro,
Right?
please.
So I decided to make that change. I also needed a job. I decided to, if this is a lifestyle change, I was looking for a job where I wasn't sitting behind a desk because I knew that if I did, most of my day would be inactive. I
Mm,
found a sales job where I got to walk around. And basically, I walked streets and cold called for 8 hours a day. And, it wasn't much that I could do, but I did it. And I made sure I made those little choices every single day. Um, I changed the way that I ate. I changed the quantity that I ate. And it was all slow. Like the first 2 months, all I wanted to do was reduce the amount of calories my body was used to. I was eating 10,000 calories a day, maybe more, and it wasn't healthy. And most people are around the 1,500, 2,000 mark. So what I did was I slowly reduced it over time. I made sure I ate every, I think it was like 2 to 3 hours. And I would eat that much, just enough to where like I wouldn't be starving. And I did that for 2 months. After the 2 month mark, I felt really confident that my metabolism had built up fast enough based off of like when I used the restrooms. Um, During that process, I also knew that if you took a walk 15 minutes after you eat, all you need, it starts the digestive process immediately, gets things moving through your body faster, and it cuts down the time that nutrients are being pulled into your body, which reduces the chances it's going to be turned into like fat, which is energy storage. Um, and that took me probably like by like month 8, I would say that I had finally built up some good habits. I was at that point, my metabolism was a lot faster.
hmm
And I slowly weaned myself to 4 hours is when I would eat. So all that whole time for 8 months, I ate like every 2 to 3 hours. And I made sure I ate the nutrients, the exact nutrients that I needed. And I also tracked my calories at the exact same time. Now I can't work out. And so when I lost my job in 2020 with the pandemic, right? I, I didn't know what else to do.
hmm
So what I started doing, and I had done this a little bit before, is I realized that no matter where I go, no matter where I am, I can get myself to burn extra calories. You go to the grocery store, I parked in the back. So I had to walk all the way there and walk all the way back to my car. Most people are going to park right up front and they're not going to burn those extra calories.
I
If
love that little effort.
Absolutely. If I was carrying something, you best believe I was focused on the best posture ever. Tight core. I wanted my buttocks to be solid. I wanted my legs to be straight. I wanted my posture to be up, spine, head looking forward, chin level like this.
Oh man, are you a
Absolutely.
model, bro?
I wanted to build good habits.
I
And I
love
learned
it.
from Derek Zoolander.
Oh, that's comedy. That's comedy. That's a good one. That's
But
a good one.
after, I am on my third year now, and I've been dedicated the whole time. The thing with a
Yeah,
lifestyle
yeah,
change
you have been
is,
right.
it's not a diet.
Mm,
You're changing your life, and it's not something that's going to start now and then it's just going to go away. It's something that sticks with you, so you better make it something that works for you, right? Like you don't want to just, okay, all of a sudden now I'm only going to eat organic greens and chicken, right? Like if you limit yourself that much,
mm,
you're going to get tired of it. You're not going to do it anymore. And then your body's going to naturally crave all the things that you just cut out. It's going to be
right.
really hard. It's not sustainable. And sustainability is what you're looking for. And if
I
you
love
can't do
it.
a lot now, that's fine, but do as much as you can because that gas tank that you have that lets you go so far can grow. It can get bigger. You get endurance, is what it's called. And you can continue to push yourself and grow and move faster and move farther. Um, but it takes dedication, like it's time. It takes time. And here's the thing for myself and my body, I know I'm going to reach my goal. I know I'm going to get there. And in fact, I am pretty confident by the end of this year, I will have reached the goal I need to reach in order to start doing physical therapy and building my body back to where I needed to be.
I love it. Godspeed, bro.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it takes a lot, and it's a lot of conscious efforts. You can't
Mm,
just go through life without making conscious choices, weighing the pros and cons, and really thinking about your decision. You know, if you just kind of fly by the seat of your pants and then kind of go with your gut, I mean,
mm.
yeah, sometimes your
That's a good
gut's going
one.
to give you good answers, right? Your gut.
I was like,
After I
what?
said that, I was going to say your gut's going to just go with what it craves. But like, I mean, yeah, your gut can give you good answers, but you need to balance that with like a checks and balances system that you
Mm,
create for yourself. For me, I go, what does my head say? What's logic say? Right?
mm.
How does my heart feel about it? And then what does my gut say? After I go through the first this step and then this step, usually my gut's right because it has those things in it. And then I go with what feels right. And sometimes what feels right is wrong. And so usually in the logic process, I could catch it, right? Or like once I take it to my heart, like, is that really what I want to do? Is that something that's beneficial for me in the long run or even in the present moment? Like it'll check itself out.
Dude, I love everything you just said. Thank you for sharing. So you just shared, my good friend just shared with us your lifestyle, your conscious lifestyle, and
That's what it's called. Yeah.
what you have
Conscious
tried and
life.
failed. Conscious lifestyle,
Hmm.
amazing. And it's, you just shared with us what has worked with you, what you have tried, and maybe went through some obstacles, but it's a constant lifestyle that feeds itself. Different aspects of your life, taking the extra walk at the grocery store, to the grocery store,
Yeah.
at the parking lot, changing your nutrition. So I was gonna say diet, changing your diet, but I actually don't like that word, and I
I
want
don't
to,
either.
and I could tell, I'm aware.
Yeah.
And have you heard, bro? I want to give credit where credit's due. I got this from Kanye West interview on the David Letterman Netflix show. But he said he got
Yeah.
it from the Rastas, so credit where credit's. He said they were talking about consumption and food and all of that, and David Letterman asked Kanye, he's like, "What's your diet?" or something along those lines, and he's like, I don't use that word. I say live it, like the Rastas, because diet has the word die in it.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah.
And it's like, I think I thought of this as you were speaking about your, sharing with us. Thank you so much about
Mhm.
sharing your lifestyle. I was thinking back to something you shared earlier about the perspective and the positivity filter, and sort of the power of you dictating how you perceive life, you
Mhm.
dictating how, walking to the beat of your own drum, etc., etc.
Absolutely.
So I personally like to monitor my language, uh, especially during Ramadan, right currently, as I am fasting from consuming food and water during the daytime, but also cleaning up my language, lowering the male gaze. Um,
Mhm.
these are what I'm trying to say is, I hope I didn't lose the thought process, or the followability, is that dictating my life through conscious decisions,
Absolutely. Yeah.
dictating my existence, my experience, just as you beautifully shared your own examples.
Yeah. I mean, if you really think about it, right? Like everything comes down to choice. You make your choice. If it's a subconscious or if it's a conscious decision, any reaction, any emotion, any decision that you inevitably make, if you believe it or not, that you made it, like you do make it. And taking control of that decision making power, right? Like you have it already, but maybe like you just haven't grasped it yet. Like if you look at someone who reacts rashly, right? Like something happens and then immediately responds. That's all
Mm,
fine and dandy when it comes to like an emergency situation, right? However, how do you know that that person's going to make the right decision? You don't, right? You can only go
because
based
it's
off of what their
reactive.
reaction.
Mm,
Actual, absolutely. Um, I like to take the time, especially when it comes to like reacting to something, because when I was younger, I had anger problems that I self-diagnosed now. I can see then I had it. Um,
hey, you
and
and me in
mainly,
the
yeah,
same boat, bro. I'm with you right there.
absolutely. And it for me, it dialed down to not communicating. I always bottled stuff up.
Dude, me and you in the same boat. I
Absolutely.
don't
I
mean
think
to
that's the
yell. I
case.
apologize, but
No, you're good. I think that's the case for, and I don't want, I let's just be general. A lot of people, I think
mm,
that that's the case, especially younger people. It's almost like this me against the world mentality, as well as this mentality that I'm grown and I know better, right? Like I can
mm,
do what I want to do type of ideal, I guess. And
yeah,
with that
the
comes an
being right.
unwillingness to learn from your experience. Yeah, like what you just said, being right. You're so sure that you're right that you can't even imagine yourself being wrong, right? Like
Exactly.
you
I,
feel justified in all of your actions, and I know that that was for me. I've dented lockers, like, and I felt really bad after because it wasn't my locker. You know what I mean? And like that, but that's a perfect
right,
example
right,
of
right.
like my
Yeah.
reaction had a negative impact on someone else. And I realized it right away, but I never really took the time to be like, maybe I shouldn't do that. I just needed to get it out, right?
Mm,
Because it built up so much.
mm.
How I am now,
This
like I
energy built
realize,
up so much inside you.
oh yeah, it's explosive.
Mm,
It is explosive energy because energy's moving constantly,
right.
right? We both know this, minus maybe static energy, but it's like still that's something completely different, right?
I just shook my
But
head at that comment in disagreement.
I, but energy's constantly moving all the
Yeah,
time. And if you take emotion as energy, right? It produces energy. If
I
you take
agree.
that emotion, you bottle it in, all that energy goes in too, but never has anywhere to escape. Just like the helium in a balloon is constantly pushing out, or air in a balloon is pushing out against the walls, right?
Yeah,
Because it wants to escape. It's energy. It's bouncing around. Eventually that balloon gets too big, it's gonna pop. All that force is gonna come out in one direction all at once. That's dangerous. And that's dangerous for
a person.
many reasons, but
Yeah,
it's main yeah, it's dangerous for yourself. Like
especially
it's
when you
really
think of this energy within a human being, within a person, especially in a society, dealing with other people around.
dangerous.
And as you have been saying, as you have been talking, which I agree with, life, human beings, we have energy, emotions are energy. And I think you need some form of outlet, some form of healthy outlet.
Mhm,
Personally, I don't know, bro. I'd like to get into the conversation, but personally, I picked up walking, bro, and throughout the
beautiful.
pandemic, and more
Mhm,
recently, like meditation and yoga, especially now, thankfully, with the start of Ramadan and entering into Ramadan, being
mhm,
more spiritual, more mindful. I've been adopting more meditation and breathing practices. But because we've been stuck at home, most of us, are either online for school or work and or both, and for other reasons need to stay home. In addition to following the public guidelines, but also even when guidelines have loosened up, some of us have continued to stay at home due to health reasons, public health
mhm.
concerns, personal health concerns. And I had all this energy. Like you said, I was a balloon with helium, and but I was getting unstable. I was getting a little
Yeah.
unstable. I was my mental health, as I'm sure many people have. I don't want to say,
Mhm.
thankfully, I'm thankful to my family, you, my friends, and God above all, that I am sane. When I say mental health, I'm just saying like
Mhm.
increased anxiety, staying at home, having the
Absolutely.
same scene over and over and over and over and
Mhm.
over. A word to that man, be what do you say, Beast Mode? And over and over and over and over and over, oh, and over.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm obnoxious. Sorry, man. I can't think what the people who are just going to listen to the audio of this are going to think
Over
of.
and over. Let's just do it again. Over. I was
Over.
kidding. No, but you're absolutely right. Right. Like,
Yeah.
so what you said you took
So I
walks. Was there
started,
anything
yeah,
else?
dude, I started walking, and that really, it just kind of changes the game. I like to try to do it in the morning, like first thing in the morning. For example, today, I was able to do that, before, and a couple times, like before I started my day and after I started my day, a little bit intermittent, midday break. But it just changes my energy. Like, I go on my walk. Sometimes it's 15 minutes, as short as 15 minutes. Sometimes it goes longer. It just depends how I feel and what I think of it, because I've thankfully developed a routine. But it helps me maintain my energy, like dissipate a little bit. It helps me slow things down.
Mhm.
Like, it's a patience thing. Sometimes I get anxious, and
Absolutely.
like the energy is elevated and I'm excited, or maybe more accurate terms I could come up with at a later time. But walking helps me clear my head, helps me get my ideas straight when I'm feeling overwhelmed with, you know, many different things like my finances. I have to think about financing my schooling right now, and those are some serious costs. And, taking
Absolutely.
out larger loans than I've ever taken out, and these arguably maybe the largest loans I'll ever take. Who knows? Definitely up there. So, things like that. And when school's kind of going rough, or when I'm unable to articulate some things, like going back to my communication, working and improving my communication, I go on my walks. I am thankful that I have a nice neighborhood with trees around, some grass
Palm
around.
trees.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I haven't seen a palm tree in
Birds.
a millennia.
Yes, yes, yes. Yo, you got come back, bro. I'm just kidding. You are
I
doing your
know.
thing. But walking, man, what have you tried walking? How do you dissipate? Have you picked up a habit or
Mhm.
habits throughout the pandemic, that have helped you
Yeah,
healthily
absolutely.
outlet your energy?
Yeah, so I would say I have a lot of energy, right? It takes a lot of energy to get through a day when you're in pain a lot. But like as my body has felt less bad, I would say, my I've had more energy throughout the day. So I've needed to find things to do more often, right? Like for a long time I didn't really have hobbies because I just was so tired. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to like go to bed, relax, or like play video games, or like watch a movie or something, right? Um, I would say for me is, I do take walks every once in a while, but mainly for the dog, not for that purpose. What really
But do
allows
you
me to,
reap the benefits? How do you feel after your walk? You have a companion. That's nice.
yeah, no, it's really fun to take them out. I'm gonna be honest. It's nice to be. Well, it snowed for a while, so I didn't like taking them out for a while.
Right, right,
But
right.
now the sun's been out a lot more. For those of you who don't know, I live in the Midwest now.
Thank you, dude. I was
Originally,
just thinking
I'm
about it.
from California.
We didn't address that, and I'd like
Yeah,
to,
I am
if
born and raised
if
in
time
California.
permits.
As I'm med in Southern California, and then I eventually moved to Northern California. I lived in the San Francisco area because I went to Berkeley and played football there. And then after that, I moved back to Southern California, and then was back in Southern California for about a year ish, and then moved to the Midwest. Um,
Post college, you graduated, you
post
returned
yeah, post
home a little
college, I
bit
graduated and all
with
that.
your
Yeah,
parents,
absolutely.
and then moved to a different part of the country.
Brand new
Um,
in the middle, like at the beginning of the pandemic, like it was rough. I'm gonna be honest for a while. But my escape, I guess, is what we were kind of talking about. A way to let my mind calm down
a
from the
healthy
stress of
outlet,
the world. Absolutely.
right?
Um, I am a very, I guess I'd say I'm a very emotional person. I'm very sensitive when it comes to other people's emotions, body behaviors, right?
Okay.
Like I can see it. I can kind of connect the dots between what they just did and what
Mm,
that means, and
mm,
probably how they're feeling. Um,
mm.
and so for myself, like I do have a lot of emotions and stuff, and I like
You
I
read
said,
the
I used
room,
to. Yeah, I can read the room very well. And I can do that now because I took the time to really dive deep into my own emotions and really understand what they were, what I was feeling, how I felt them, what spawned them, and things like that. So I take that emotion, I really throw it into my ukulele that I play. Um, I throw it into my drawings. I've painted a lot more since the pandemic, as well as being inside and stuff. Um, I do fun things like this, make like ceramic cups, like color me mine stuff. Um,
oh, that's
and I just
beautiful.
like I try to have fun, and it really what it is for me is I take everything I'm feeling, I release it into one thing, and then when I do that, I actually let it go. I don't hold on
Mm,
to it.
beautiful.
Letting it go is probably one of the main things for myself to help with anxiety, pressure, stress, financial things as well. Like everyone goes through it. And we're very young, still trying to figure it out and make things for ourselves. And you I hope it's okay that I talk about it, but getting into medical school is insane, right? Like that's insane. um and I'm learning a lot to it in my job and stuff. And so with that comes a lot of stress,
Mm,
right? And it comes a lot of like unknowns, and what do I do, and I don't know how to do this, and like I need to learn, and I need to really dive deep and get into it and think about
right,
it. And
right,
comes responsibility and pressure, and it does build up after a
right.
while, and
That's
you
why
do
the
need that
importance. Yes,
release. You need the
yes,
release.
yes.
Absolutely.
And so I'd like to compare and contrast a little bit between our outlets.
Yeah,
Now that I'm thinking about it, this is just the first time I'm like, wow, you produce a lot of things, and now this is something that I'm working for the first time. Have something to show for dissipating my energy, for a healthy outlet like this creative outlet. It's a creative outlet, this podcast space, that
absolutely.
I've tried to do something good with it. However, it's like something that is being produced. My walks, I just go on them, and I have a calmer head. My breathing, I feel good, sometimes euphoric, sometimes uplifted, and depends on how I'm able to focus on it. But it's like an internal feeling, it's an internal product.
Yeah.
But you pointed out, you showed us some of your work, your ceramic work, your your music work. I mean, on your ukulele, bro, you produce some beautiful things. And
Yeah.
so
I
for
got a
the
pocket recorder too. One of those like electronic sounds that you can make. It goes like
okay, man,
I got it for a Secret Santa, dude. It's the best gift. And a tech deck. I got a tech deck too. It's sweet.
okay, I thought you were gonna say you're making like concerts or something, or you're like,
I just play with it. I don't know how to use it.
yeah,
I'm gonna
it's
turn a
coming
light on real
along,
quick.
it's coming along, it's coming along. Okay, okay. So
It's
for
getting
those
dark
of you
outside.
So for those of you that are listening, hey, however your energy is important, however you choose to give it an outlet, I I'm not gonna say whatever outlet, do whatever outlet, but there are multiple options. You could exercise, you could
Mhm.
choose to produce or whatnot. Just give a healthy outlet, you know,
Yeah,
as long as you're not hurting yourself, hurting others. This is the internet. I don't know who's going to
yeah,
hear it, but I hope you hear it in good health, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and all other ways. And that you're able to take away something, maybe some examples, some inspiration, as to find a healthy outlet, as
yeah,
to find a hobby or
yeah. If you need direction
whatever
too,
have
like
you.
the best way to find the best thing for yourself is to just think about it, right? Like
Mm,
for me, I know, like you were saying, I produce things. Mainly, I like to succeed at things. I
mm,
put my efforts and my energy towards things that I can get an outcome out of because I know that that's going to make me feel good. That like I did something. It's going to give me the motivation to want to do another thing, right?
mm.
Learn something new and be better at something else and improve at this, right? Or whatever. Um, I know that that's what works for me. For you, right? Like you like to take time to really separate yourself from everything else and clear your mind and
Right.
take that time for you, right? And that works for you. You get to walk and burn some energy off and stuff. As well as, you created a nice space here so that not only could you get the energy that you want to get out too, but you get to do it in a very productive way, right? And for other people to enjoy as well. If what you want for yourself is to find something like that, right? Just think, what do I enjoy doing and what makes me feel good? And then
Beautiful.
that's
Beautiful.
positive though, a positive and productive, I would say, option. Like find
Mm,
something that's productive for yourself that makes you feel good productively, right? Because people can easily say, "Oh, alcohol makes me feel good," or like, "Oh, this." Like,
exactly.
no,
Right.
that's something that's productive, beneficial for yourself that makes yourself feel good, and then do it. Try it
Right.
once, right? If you
Right.
like
Right.
it, great. Try it again. Like, build those good habits, make those good choices, think about it.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Build those good habits. Uh, Dissipate those bad ones. Don't let go of those bad ones. If
Hmm.
I've done a lot of that. I can't begin to articulate how I've done that over the pandemic, but I'd like to, uh, man. I can't even ask you the question because you already answered it. One good way to start a new habit or start something new, and you said, think about it, think what you want, And bro, when you were talking about it, it's like a lot of things I do: yoga, I do, etc.,
Hmm.
etc., breathing. You can find almost anything on YouTube these days.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Even if you
Shameless
want
plug.
someone to, like,
You're gonna find a
instruct you.
beautiful conversation with my friend on YouTube.
Yeah,
But
even if you just wanna, like, listen to a podcast, right? Listen to 2 people talk about growth and adjustments and advice.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love it, bro. I love it,
I'm gonna turn more lights on.
bro. Go for it. Do your thing. Do your thing. Um, Give us any questions you have. We are. I'm thankful for my friend. I appreciate him. We have been
Woo!
on record for quite some time now. My friend is dropping all sorts of knowledge from from athletics, getting into athletics. What you should think about as a young athlete trying to get into higher levels like the collegiate and professional levels, taking care of your body, changing your lifestyle, not calling it diet, but making conscious decisions as to get a health goal that you want. In this case, my friend Michael Trani shared some beautiful nuggets of knowledge about how to get started, how to keep going, how to roll with the punches, as he said, take it on the chin. Be-
Absolutely.
Beautiful examples. I mean, man, I appreciate all that you've said, bro. I do appreciate your time, bro. I love talking with you, being with you in person, virtually, offline, online, all of the above. And you got people talking about it's almost time for break fast. That's also true. People saying miss
Absolutely.
y'all. People saying they're a runner and it helps with their day to day stress and
That's
with
awesome.
their career. So what I'm trying to
Absolutely.
say, you brought up some really positive energy, positive reactions. I super appreciate it, man. You whatever you want, bro. I know we have some great conversations,
Hmm.
more to talk about. So I love that. I appreciate you being on here. Whenever you want, bro, come back on. Because,
Thanks, man.
dude, thank you. We got
Yeah,
to
next time we're going to talk about how to bring positivity into adversity.
beautiful.
That's a good one.
Just kidding. Actually, I hope someone's recording this. Did someone get what he just? So one of y'all, bro, get a yeah. Thank you. No,
Absolutely.
man. I'm kind of I'm unfortunately I am a little sad we didn't get to talk about shed light about your tireless commitment to your transition and your professional life to your moving across the country or to different part of the country and away from family, away from environments you've known in college and before.
Well, that's
You
great. That gives me time for next time. I just found out that I might be what is it called? Lincoln's 30 top 10 Lincoln's 30 under 30 business people. That's yeah, someone told me the other day that I got ranked that. However, it gives me time to verify if that's even true because I'm pretty sure no one knows who I am here.
Dude, whether you like to admit it or not, congratulations on whatever it
Yeah,
is ranking they're giving you. Congratulations on all the beautiful work that you've put in, the labor, and now you're getting the fruits of your labor. People are
absolutely.
recognizing. We talked online. I wish to talk about it more online. Um, but if you could summarize it, summarize your labor, your commitment to your job, your professional growth, your professional
Mhm.
image, what would you say? Let's just narrow it down. You, as yourself now, your wiser self, what would be one piece of information, one piece of advice your younger self, maybe some guy fresh out of high school or fresh into college,
Mhm.
young adulthood, what one piece of advice would you have appreciated, would you think is beneficial?
Well, post back surgery, I'd probably say take care of your body for sure.
Take care of your body.
After back surgery, because that's like number one advice I would give myself, hands down. Like, hey, stupid, like,
Dude, that's your
take care of
machine.
yourself, be your
That's your
advocate. Like, come on, what are you doing? Like, you're blowing it. You don't even know what's in store for you. I would say all that kind of stuff. But then if
okay.
it's after
Take it
surgery,
easy.
right? Yeah, like just pay attention to your body. Like, if you know something's wrong, don't let someone tell you to push through it. You know what I mean? Make better decisions for yourself, basically, is what I would say.
Yeah,
Um,
because like you said, you don't know what's coming, and even
yeah.
as our quote, as I like to say, our wiser selves now,
Mhm.
we don't know what's coming yet either. So take care of
Absolutely.
yourself and be sustainable. I love what you said earlier. Be sustainable.
Yeah. Sustainable, that's huge. But after surgery, I'd probably tell myself, um, man, I just wish I was proactive, took more initiative when I was in college, going through that a lot of my hardships, a lot of my adversity, and I really let that part of my life, I let the things going on, my circumstance, right? I let it control who I was and what I was doing. Um, I let it affect me. I let it like basically take advantage of myself. Um, just because I didn't have the sense to think about the future outside of my physical self, I guess. Um, and I was so sad, so depressed in the time, and it seemed like such a big feat that I really just was undermining what I was capable of. But but it was like I was undermining myself, and I would say take the initiative to go get the experience you need for the future.
Mm.
That's the biggest one. I came out of college, no working experience outside of refereeing flag football and like being a security guard and like the varying jobs that I had tutored every once in a while,
Jobs
right?
and avenues that you didn't think fed into
Absolutely.
your career path.
Yeah, and like now what I do, I work in business finance, and now I'm starting to transition into like a project management position. I know what my goal is in the future. I want to be a professor. I want to do research. I want to write books. I want to teach young minds, and I want to mentor people.
Mm.
What I'm doing now, I've found a way to take that experience and apply it to what I would be doing later on with my finance position, right? I do a lot of research into our numbers and as well as like market validation research and um, just I work more in business numbers, but the skills still apply, right?
Mm.
Like research is still applicable. Um,
So
when
your
in my
experience is a take experience for
absolutely
the future.
for the future, yeah, know what you want, get a goal, have a dream, have a crazy dream. Doesn't matter. Just work every day towards it, right? Because if you're not, it's not a dream anymore. It's just something you'd like to do one day, right?
I
Like
love it.
if I work 30 years in business, that's fine because I know that the last 30 years I'm going to be a professor
Mm.
because I'm going to take the steps I need to get to that point, which I was blessed to be around people with very different lifestyles and different experiences and stuff. I had a professor though who had worked 20 years in business and eventually decided that he wanted to go get his master's because he just thought it'd be interesting to focus on something else. And then from there, he started focusing on rhetoric and the power of words and persuasiveness. And
I
then he
love
now he
that. The
teaches at
power of
Berkeley.
words. I love that.
Absolutely,
I
words are
love
so
that.
powerful.
Yeah.
Power of life
Like
and
the
death, right
diet
here on your
versus
tongue.
live it. Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely. Just by changing a turn of phrase, right? To
Yes.
benefit your
Yes.
mental self. Like if you tell yourself you could do it, if you believe that you could do it, you can do it.
Yes.
Like
There's
it's easy as
a
that.
there's a quote or a phrase or a proverb or what have you. Some wise man in the chat, Mr. Jesse Ruiz says, "Professor sounds like a smart man." I believe it. Thank you, thank you. And
You made
this
me all
stud,
blessed.
and this stud calling other people stud in the comments. Man, thank y'all, thank y'all. Yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say, but it doesn't matter. I'm appreciative of the positivity. Take care of your body. Michael Trani's advice, if my memory serves me right, if I could summarize it in my own words, take care of your body, take care of your vessel. I mean, this is what we got. You said
Absolutely.
earlier, sometimes you could damage it, and thankfully for science and advancements in medicine, but that's still, we're at the front edge of it. But if you damage your body, you may not get that part of your body repaired. And so take care of your body. Beautiful advice. Think about what you want to do in the future. Think about, be conscious and intentional. Spend your time and effort and experience accordingly for the future. And like the professor said, or part of what the professor's teachings are, the power of language. Man,
Yeah.
I super appreciate that. As we're closing up this episode, Michael, I love speaking with you. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. It's been a privilege, an honor, a ton of joy.
Yeah.
I hope you feel as welcome as I am telling you you are. Come on and do another episode, or 10 more, or 1,000 more, whenever you like.
Let's do
As
another one. Absolutely.
beautiful. As we're closing this one up,
Mhm.
I'd love to leave off with some positivity, bro. You shared a ton of advice to your former self. One piece of general advice in life, or if you want to, you already gave us so many advice. If you want to shout out the beautiful people in your family and share in your life, family, friends, and share
Porque no
positivity
los
that way.
dos, right?
Porque no
I'll be
los
quick.
dos.
General advice for life: work hard. Like,
Work
with
hard.
hard work comes success, and sometimes hard work leads to nothing. But being able to differentiate when your hard work is worth it and when it is not is very important. General advice.
Yeah,
And you got to figure that out for yourself too, because only you know your limits.
that's a good
That's
one.
just it. However, you can grow your gas tank. Like, you can go farther, but it
Mm,
takes time to develop that. And there's no point in just rushing into it. Take the time.
I love
Like,
that.
literally, my dad told me one time when I went to college, he said, this amount of time is this in comparison to the rest of your life. Like, really, that's what it is. If you have a
Wow,
goal in mind, the
that's a
time it
good one.
takes to reach it is this in comparison to the rest of your life and the benefits that you could pull from that, right? Work hard,
And for
give
those
it
who
your all.
maybe are not seeing this, my man is making a gesture that it's a small part of a very bigger picture, what you're going
Absolutely.
through right now versus your life.
Absolutely. Yes. And then shout outs, honestly, I, you know, I changed my ideology. When I was in college, I felt very alone. And I felt like I was going through all the things that I was going through by myself with no help. Um, that's not the case. Back then, I told myself that, quite frankly, I'm the only support system I need, and I can give myself the support I need and have the talks that I need to have with myself and push myself when I need to and console myself when I need to. Yes, that's fine. You can do that, but I would be nowhere, right? I wouldn't be where I'm at today, the person I am today, without all of the amazing people in my life. Angie, right? The
Shout
people
them
who
out.
were in my life in college, who really, really guided me and helped me and, took me to appointments and stuff. My friends back home, like you, Ahmed, Jesse, Dom, Joey. I was about to say Ahmed again, Mike, Nofo. like, like, you guys are amazing. My family, even, like, they really, uh, desire to want to help and assist. It's a beautiful thing. And, even they taught me a lot through that process of, like, people panic, they want to help you, they care about you, they want you to feel better. And sometimes they just can't. And it's not their fault, right? They're going to ask you. And even though you're in pain and you can't handle it, right? Like, they're still going to want to help, and that's not their fault. Don't hold it against them. Have your reaction be
People
much
want to help
different,
you.
right? Yeah. And before, I'd be like, leave me alone. I'm in so much pain. Like, no, I can't believe I used to talk like that. Like, it blows my mind. Now I'm more along the lines of, like, I'm in pain. You could tell I'm in pain. It's visible. And I go, hey, I appreciate that you are concerned about me. Right now, I just need to focus on my body, take care of it. Afterwards, we could talk about it. But I really don't think that there's anything you could do to help me out. But I really, really do appreciate it. And then I go back to being
Wow.
on the ground.
That was beautiful communication, though. I appreciate
Yeah,
that. I respect that. Thank you for sharing
absolutely.
that.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Dude,
I had a lot of fun.
I'm thankful. Thank you so much. You've been very kind. You've been, to me personally, on the show. Dude, thank you so much. I appreciate it. For those who have very kindly tuned in, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate your listenership. And go ahead, if you enjoyed, my part, go ahead and like it. If you enjoyed my friend's part, go ahead and smash that like. You know what I'm saying?
Smash that like. Don't click, don't
As
press,
as
smash
he
it.
said, you can't click. What is clicking a like button? I think it
Sit
doesn't
on the like
exist.
button for all I care. Do anything but press it. Just Get it light.
What he said, what he said. Thank you all so much. Y'all go ahead and have a beautiful day or night, wherever you are, whenever you are. Be well. Thank you so much. Peace.
Kisses.